You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Here's the thing about Hazel. Almost everyone is obsessed with leaving a mark upon the world, bequeathing a legacy, outlasting death. We all want to be remembered. I do too. That's what bothers me most, is being another unremembered casualty in the ancient and inglorious war against disease. I want to leave a mark, but the marks humans leave are too often scars. Hazel is different. She knows the truth. We're as likely to hurt the universe as we are to help it. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I sat quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. Triumph, rising above, overcoming obstacles. We all experience trials and disappointments, but it's not the trial that matters, it's how we deal with it. It comes from learning from one's misfortunes and rising up stronger because of your trials. For some, triumph comes in a different form. Having the strength to live our own lives, risking embarrassment or even heartbreak is worth it, so we can triumphantly be ourselves. Eventually, though, survival isn't enough, and it is only by passing on what we have learned that we can come to true triumph. We examine this in poetry. Maya Angelou's Still I Rise, Katy Perry's Roar, and Jenny Yates' Standing Outside the Fire. And prose. John Green's The Fault in Our Stars, Allegiant by Veronica Roth, and Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This is I Rise, a program about the different kinds of triumph we all can feel. This is not your decision, Christina says. This is the decision of a coward, and you're a lot of things but not a coward. You can't become a person she would hate, and she would have hated this. Anger stampedes through me, hot and lively, and the muffled feeling around my ears falls away, making even this quiet street loud. I shudder with the force of it. Shut up, I yell. You don't know what she would hate. You didn't know her. I know enough, she snaps. I know she wouldn't want you to erase her from your memory like she didn't even matter to you. We call them cool, those hearts that have no scars to show, the ones that never do let go and risk the tables being turned. We call them fools who have to dance within the flame, who chance the sorrow and the shame but always comes with getting burned. But you've got to be tough when consumed by desire, because it's not enough to just stand outside the fire. People say it's sad that she leaves a lesser scar, that fewer remember her, that she was loved deeply but not widely. But it's not sad, it's triumphant, it's heroic. After my PET scan lit up, I snuck into the ICU and saw her while she was unconscious. I walked in behind the nurse and got to sit next to her for like 10 minutes before I got caught. I really thought she was going to die before I could tell her that I was going to die too. I just held her hand and tried to imagine a world without us. And for about 1 second, I was a good enough person to hope that she died, so she would never know that I was going to. But then I wanted more time so we could fall in love. I got my wish, I suppose. I left my scar. I love her. I am so lucky to love her. You don't get to choose the ones you hurt in this world, but you do have some say in who hurts you. I like my choices. I hope she likes hers. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, 'cause I had enough. I see it all, I see it now. I've got the eye of the tiger, a fighter dancing through the fire, 'cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar, louder, louder than a lion. 'Cause I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes? Shoulders falling like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. We stand still for a few seconds, just looking at each other. She is a forgiving friend faithful to the truth, brave enough to take action. I know how it feels for someone you love to get killed for no reason, and to want to trade all your memories with them just for a moment's peace. The person you became with her is worth being, she says. If you swallow that serum, you'll never be able to find your way back to him. There are so many ways to be brave in this world. Sometimes bravery involves laying down your life for something bigger than yourself, or for someone else. Sometimes it involves giving up everything you have ever known or everyone you have ever loved for the sake of something greater. But sometimes it doesn't. They play in the meadow, the dancing girl with the dark hair and blue eyes, the boy with blonde curls and gray eyes, struggling to keep up with her on his chubby toddler legs. It took 5, 10, 15 years for me to agree, but Peter wanted them so badly. When I first felt her stirring inside of me, I was consumed with a terror that felt as old as life itself. Only the joy of holding her in my arms could tame it. Carrying him was a little easier, but not much. The questions are just beginning. The arenas have been completely destroyed, the memorials built. There are no more Hunger Games, but they teach about them at school, and the girl knows we played a role in them. How can I tell them about that world without frightening them to death? My children who don't know they play on a graveyard. We call them strong, those who can face this world alone, who seem to get by on their own, those who will never take the fall. We call them weak, who are unable to resist the slightest chance love might exist, and for that forsake it all. They're so hell-bent on giving, walking a wire, convinced it's not living if you stand outside the fire. Sometimes it is nothing more than gritting your teeth through pain, and the work of every day, the slow walk toward a better life. That is the sort of bravery I must have now. There's this love that is burning deep in my soul, constantly yearning to get out of control, wanting to fly higher and higher. I can't abide standing outside the fire. Life is not tried, it is merely survived if you're standing outside the fire. Peter says it will be okay. We have each other. We can make them understand in a way that will make them braver. But one day I'll have to explain my nightmares, why they came, why they won't ever really go away. I'll tell them how I survive it. I'll tell them that on bad mornings it feels impossible to take pleasure in anything because I'm afraid it could be taken away. That's when I make a list in my head of every act of goodness I've seen someone do. It's like a game, repetitive, even a little tedious after more than 20 years. But there are much worse games to play. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Out of the huts of history's shame I rise, up from a past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise, into a daybreak that's wondrously clear I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you.